Welcome to Lost on Ice, the show about the show 20 years later. Today, we're talking about Season 3, Episodes 11 and 12. I am Will. Also here is Ben, and you can watch full episodes of the video podcast on YouTube. Ben and I also release a bonus hangout show every week that can be found at patreon.com/drskeleton. All right, Ben, these two episodes, I'm really surprised how quickly the show was able to pick its feet up after the quote-unquote worst episode that we talked about last week, to the point that I'm suspicious. Are we actually out of the woods already? If so, how could the show pivot so quickly? I don't know how these things work, but they don't make an episode in a week or two. It wasn't like they put out the Jack is a White Devil getting tatted up in Thailand episode on Wednesday. People were like, oh, this sucks. And then they got their act together for the next Wednesday. What's going on? Are we out of the woods?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I'm actually kind of getting to the point where I know the broad strokes, but I'm kind of like forgetting some of the smaller strokes that are about to happen. You
These
know,
are professional folks. Yeah.
I can't remember, but who knows? Maybe they did just do it in a week. You know, maybe they're just like,
well, no.
Well, are you sure?
Yes, I would bet everything that they didn't like put out the episode. People reviewed it and like over the next day or so, people didn't like them. They're like, oh man. And then they like rewrote and then reshot and re-edited and rescored like the next episode. There's just no way. I suspect that the meta narrative of how the writers were stuck, put out a 0, and the network let them progress is a little bit more complicated. I'm guessing that they would have plotted out this season with a few stinkers along the way that they probably knew were stinkers, but mixing them in with some episodes where they move the overall story forward, which were like these two episodes that we watched this week.
Okay.
And then like at the end of the season or something, or some way along the lines, the network was like, okay, fine, you can move things along.
Yeah, I guess it's possible. It's also possible that they did all that other stuff. That they're just like, the CEO has activated us. We can turn off crappy mode. We can go back to good
like
stuff.
In 7 days. They were like, all right, we're gonna.
If you put your mind to it.
No,
I believe these people. I trust them. They flew everybody back out to Hawaii, and they're like, we're gonna get some good episodes going. We are getting rid of the episode where we do the Kate's bangs and the exact weight of Hurley or whatever, like you were calling out last week.
I guess also speaking of meta narratives, we should talk about the ARG sometime. Is this something that you're familiar with, Ben?
No.
The Lost ARG.
Can I take a slight digression from this and say either you're going to talk about the meta narrative of the show of people might want to know why I'm sitting so far away from the camera today. I can't tell you that yet. My computer
that will be revealed in due time.
In due time, 3 more seasons, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ben's computer has a restraining order against him. He has to.
Yeah, I gotta be
from it.
6 feet.
Yeah.
6 feet. No, but the ARG. This sounds familiar. There is a Lost alternate reality game, or is it alternative reality game?
One of the two. I don't know.
Alternative reality.
Does that help?
Like, we gotta get an alternative reality, which is Claire has gone goth in one of the episodes today.
It's alternate. It is alternate. Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of I want to bring it up this week because we're in a bit of an ARG going on right now with the CEO shooter, where the whole internet is well, losers on the internet are trying to identify him, but apparently, and so I went down this rabbit hole researching the ARG today, and I think it needs its whole episode at some point. So if you're listening and you're aware of this ARG that happened, We did miss it a little bit, like as far as the timing goes, because it happened between like seasons 2 and 3. Uh, I haven't seen the show, and so I'm not doing a bunch of research on the periphery here, so I'm to try not to spoil myself for it. But uh, the ARG happened, yeah, between seasons 2 and 3 in the US. I guess it took like place during season 2 in the UK. Don't know why that happened,
Which is also 20 years ago, which is a big reason that we missed it as well, I would say.
Oh, well, yeah, but like it would be um it talks about stuff that's happening, or like it'd be relevant to, like, if you were a Lost super fan while it was happening, while it was airing on TV, you would like know all the stuff that the ARG reveals while you're watching what we're watching now. And so we have progressed enough in the show that we can talk about it. But since there's just so much going on in it that I think we should do like a bonus episode sometime about it. This is all to say, just to basically, like, you're not aware that there was an ARG at all. Is that correct?
Well, like I said, sounds familiar. I think I've probably read it in passing and was not interested enough to look into it. Yeah.
Okay. It was actually I've spoken to other like Lost fans who were watching it at the time too, and like they had no idea that it was happening at the time. But weirdly enough, if this was like the one thing that I did know about, not that I was participating in or knew anything about the ARG, but I just knew that there was an ARG about Lost, and that it like it was an ARG. Like it involved a bunch of like weird, like examining websites and codes and decoding things and putting clues together from around the internet, and in real life. That like that was what I knew about the show, and I kind of expected that the show was gonna be somehow like obviously deserving of that. That seems like a bad way of saying that. I thought it was gonna be like super complex puzzles all the time, like it was gonna be like Mist, the TV show, or like how about that for a reference? But like a bunch of like crazy weird puzzles and codes all the time, and they're obviously puzzles and codes to some extent, but it's not like, but this ARG was much more just a very interesting, in my opinion, like marketing campaign that ultimately did not really reveal too much about the show. We do learn from it. Like I'm gonna say these the major takeaways from the ARG now, just so, because like if we were super fans at the time, we would know this watching the show. Do you remember the Hanzo Foundation? You know, that mean too much to you?
No.
They are the company that was like in the orientation films, like it would say that it
sure,
like, okay, this is like paid for by the Hanzo Foundation or whatever.
Yep.
I'm not going to get into what all the ARG stuff is about. It's very interesting though. But the main takeaways from, if you piece together all this stuff, we found out that the Hanzo Foundation's mission is to extend human life. That, that matches up with like maybe like Juliet being brought to the island or something. Blah, blah, blah. The Hanzo Foundation found a special island to work on their mission. That's this island. And part of the mission involves the numbers that we've come to know and love, that are known as the Valenzetti equation: 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, and 42. The objective of the DHARMA initiative, which is, the Hanzo Foundation joint, is to alter any of the 6 factors of this equation revealed to have a huge impact on the date the human race will destroy itself. And that's kind of all we get.
Okay.
Which is... there's a lot to the ARG. It's like really interesting. It involves an actual novel being published, full page ads in the Washington Post, Chicago Tribune, Philadelphia Inquirer, Jimmy Kimmel interviews, weird video clip surfacing on like MySpace and Dig and stuff, things that are happening at that time on the internet. A real life chocolate bar that was sold in stores, a confrontation at a Comic-Con in 2006. All of these different things. We'll get into it someday.
Interesting.
Went on quite the rabbit hole this morning. But yeah, I figured I should bring it up because there are a few pieces to the larger narrative that we would know if we were like super clued in at the time watching.
Okay. Noted.
Yeah. So go ahead and note that, gang. I guess that's all I have to say about it. Let's jump in though. Oh, actually, I forgot to ask you, Ben, what did you think about these 2 episodes overall?
They're pretty good. I mean, I enjoy them. They're not like knocking out of anything out of the park, but like as a casual fan, I suppose at this point, pretty good. Having a good time. I like alt glare. That's pretty good. I like having a Saeed episode. Both of these are episodes for, people that don't have a lot of episodes. So like to see the love go around the age.
Yeah. These 2 episodes are a little Saeed's backstory and Claire's backstory are the most like I feel like dire backstories that we get of people. Like sometimes there's lots of tragedy in a lot of people's backstories, I guess. But like, I don't know, you go to Hurley's backstory and it's kind of a goofy, look at all these like weird things that are happening around him. Cheech Marin's there. And then like cut to Saeed's backstory. It's literally, torture and death and oil being poured on people. And Claire's backstory is her being responsible for her mother's death in a car accident and these different things.
Yeah.
So, but it was good to spend some time with these characters. Let's talk about season 3, episode 11, called Enter 77 or 77. Enter 77. This aired on March 7th, 2007, 377. Directed by Stephen Williams, written by Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof. In his flashbacks, Saeed is a chef in a restaurant in Paris. He is summoned onto the portico by an Iraqi named Sammy, who compliments the meal Saeed cooked for him and offers him a job as a chef in his new restaurant.
I gotta say, I would not say that it was clear that it was Paris until they showed the Eiffel Tower, indicating this is Paris. I felt like
that's how you do it on TV.
This might be Lebanon. I thought Lebanon was a good pull in my mind. Kind of makes sense for the area of the world that we have last seen Saeed in, outside of, weird United States, U.S. black site stuff. But, it has a French history. But yes, if you had any doubt, like me, they pull back and they show you the big-ass Eiffel Tower.
Saeed in Paris. Saeed later arrives at this restaurant and meets Sammy's wife, Amira. She has burn scars on her arm, but their introduction is cut short when the woman confirms that Saeed is him. Saeed is suddenly attacked and knocked unconscious. He is chained up. Go ahead.
Keep going. We got to talk about this woman, though.
Okay. He is chained up in the basement of the restaurant. Sammy explains that his wife was tortured by the Republican Guard, and she recognized her torture to be Saeed. And Saeed denies this passionately. All right, so what about her? What about Amira?
Do you have her name? Actress's name? It is Anne something. Betty. Do you recognize her?
I do not.
I would say probably best known as being the hot woman from the Palestinian chicken restaurant in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, I'm seeing her here.
Larry David's GF or whatever.
Yeah, Shara on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah. In a little bit of a different role in this situation.
Slightly different role, yes.
Slightly different. Yeah.
Saeed denies that he tortured her. Sammy's wife is brought before Saeed as Sammy begins to brutally beat him, trying to get him to admit that he tortured his wife. Sammy reaches for an iron bar, but Amira stops him. The following day, Saeed is visited by Amira. She explains that she rescued a cat from torture by street kids, and this cat bears a striking resemblance to the cat at the flame station that we see later on. And while it sleeps with her and loves her, it also sometimes attacks her because sometimes it forgets that it is safe. She forgives him. She forgives Saeed for she forgives him for this because she forgives the cat for this because she also knows what it is like to never be safe because of Saeed. And that's when Saeed admits that he remembers her, that her face has haunted him since he left Iraq. He breaks down in tears and emotionally apologizes over and over. Amira forgives him. Moreover, she says that she will tell Sammy that she made a terrible mistake. They have found the wrong person, so that Sammy will let him go. Yeah, this was the episode that Saeed, Naveen Andrews submitted for an Emmy, I guess.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that's how the Emmys work. You're just like,
yeah,
take a look at this. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
What do you think? You like what you see?
I would have thought. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. I kind of figured with big shows, they'd just be like, my work speaks for itself. Watch all 23 episodes of season 3.
You've heard of me. It's the #1 show on television.
Yeah.
Check it out. Yeah.
Check it out.
Okay. No, I think that you submit a specific episode.
Probably smart of him to submit one where he is his character is the
there's a pretty advanced strategy to it. Pick the one where you're in it a lot.
Should have picked the Hurley episode where he just pops in to say what's up a couple times.
Yeah, Paolo submitted the other one where he just grabs Nikki's shorts for like 2 seconds and that was it.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about this one?
For shorts work, we're recognizing Paolo.
Yeah.
And actress who plays Claire, who is Emily DeRavin. DeRavine, maybe.
DeRavin.
God,
how would you say that if you're an Australian person? Is she Australian?
Emily DeRavine. Yeah, she's got to be. I think so. But I am so glad that I didn't Google her character's name until today, because we get quite the reveal in like her Google profile. Like,
yeah,
she's played by this, and these are her siblings. But she submitted the next episode that we watched for her Emmy. So we get the two big Emmy performances.
Nice.
These 2 episodes. So on the island, we're at the flame station, which is, I guess, well, that's what we come to know it as, I suppose. But in the jungle, John Locke, Saeed, Kate, and Danielle stumble across a farmhouse with a satellite dish on its roof. This is the flame station, I guess. Its inhabitant is revealed to be the mysterious one-eyed man whom Saeed, Locke, and company saw on the Pearls monitoring video in an earlier episode. Yeah, that new other that we saw, and he like turned off the camera.
Yeah.
That's him.
It's a little, how do you know he's a one-eyed man? He might be kind of pirate style, you know?
Yeah.
We never really find that out.
We don't know.
Pirate style, cover it up so he can see in the dark when he's inside of the farmhouse or whatever.
Mm-hmm. He could just be wearing it for fashion reasons.
This is a very Southern Hemisphere farmhouse, I gotta say. You two, as people native to
people of the farm,
a land of farms in the Northern Hemisphere, doesn't look like what I think of when I think of a farmhouse. It's kind of a bougie farmhouse when you get inside.
It's very nice on the inside, or very fancy, I suppose.
And on the outside, I would call that a ranch. We call that a ranch house.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not super familiar with Southern Hemisphere farms, but southern farms, and then we definitely get that's what it was reading as to me, like with the cows around, like that's
sure with the cows, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the palm tree situation doesn't help it look like Iowa.
Like where we just are in the Southern Hemisphere, probably. Yeah, that's what's going on. Rousseau decides not to get involved, so she leaves as the rest of the group proceeds to the farmhouse. Saeed approaches unarmed, noticing a mysterious cat whose name is later revealed to be Nadia. But as he nears, the one-eyed man appears with a... Oh, I don't want... It's specifying the gun. He appears with a Mosin Nagant rifle in his hands. The gun nerd on Wikipedia being like...
Yeah.
Unless that's a clue. Am I supposed to write that down?
the what do they call it? It's not a clip. It's either a clip or it's a... What's the other name?
Round?
Gun guys, right in. No.
Bullet.
No, the big thing that you put the bullets in, and you go click click. You put a bunch of them bullets in the thing.
Magazine.
Magazine, but or it's a clip. And
or
one of them is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Not sure. I won't be looking into it.
Gun guys, tell us. Let us know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the one-eyed man shoots Saeed in the shoulder, screaming that he didn't cross the line. They had a truce. After Saeed tells him about the plane crash, the one-eyed man emerges. Kate and Locke rush out from hiding to disarm him. The one-eyed man reveals his name to be Mikhail Bakunin.
Kate and Locke go like full SWAT team operator mode. Like nobody on the island so far has shown those kind of skills. Kind of including Saeed, but they are in an operator style crouch and run and disarm the guy. They kind of come out of nowhere, you know? Saeed's sort of like, I got this under control, and then they SWAT team in.
Yeah, Saeed does a few things where like he seems like super calm and collected and like the only one with his like head on his shoulders in situations. And like that's to Naveen Andrews' performance here, but like there's a few things don't go like so smoothly or you know in accordance with his demeanor. I think that he's kind of like, leave it to me, I will take care of this, and then like everything blows up in their faces like kind of a few times in a row. But yeah, we get the one-eyed man is Mikhail Bakunin, the same first and last name as the famous Russian anarchist, and claims that he is the last living member of the DHARMA initiative.
Interesting.
Russian anarchist heads going crazy for this episode.
Yeah. I definitely recognize that and wasn't thinking to myself, Bakunin, that sounds like an evil monkey or something like that from a video game.
I mean, for me, I was like, oh, Michael Bakunin is one of the most influential figures of anarchism and a major figure in the revolutionary socialist, anarchist 5 and collectivist anarchist traditions. Immediately off the top of the dome.
Okay.
While treating Saeed's gunshot wound, Mikhail, am I saying that right?
Mikhail. Michael, come here.
Big Mike. Yeah. Michael. Mikhail tells the survivors about how he came to the island after responding to a newspaper advertisement for the DHARMA initiative. He has been on the island for 11 years, staying in the station called The Flame, where he communicates with the outside world. Mikhail tells Saeed that several years ago, the DHARMA initiative launched a purge against the hostiles, but Mikhail did not participate in it. As a result, the hostiles let him live, provided he did not cross the line around his house. He also states that the dish on his roof has not worked for years, and that the hostiles were on the island long ago before the DHARMA initiative.
Hostiles is it seems like a bad name, I gotta say. It seems like it's a possibly problematic name. It's been used poorly throughout history, but gotta say, it's a much better name than calling them the others. If I'm Locke and Kate and Saeed, I'm thinking, damn, we should have used that name from the beginning. Why did we call them the others?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I've got. But
here's Here's my favorite part of the episode. Meanwhile, Locke finds a computer running a chess program, starts touching it. He just starts touching stuff. He's going around.
He's biting his lip big time when he's like, thinking about touching it. I want to play a game of computer chess.
Yeah, he's straight up the little kid who says, "Do you have games on your phone?" Like that's him, but at the Flame Station, I guess. He was pissing me off with some of his antics in these episodes, I gotta say.
Mikhail also tells him or something about they're talking about cheating. About Locke's like
the computer cheats.
I like the computer cheats, and Locke is like the thing I like
you're
about
wrong.
the thing I like about computers is that they're always perfect and they never do anything bad.
They treat. Yeah.
Welcome to 21st century John Locke. If you only, I guess he's still alive. Whatever his name is, the guy, the real
Terry
guy.
O'Quinn.
Terry O'Quinn. You're still alive, right? So you must know the fault of your character's ways.
You feel those words in your mouth turn to ash, big guy? Look at where that thinking got us. Yeah. But yeah, he finds a computer running a chess program. He plays and begins a losing streak. That's
this episode. This episode takes place over the course of like 15 minutes. So like John Locke must suck ass at chess if he's on a losing streak.
How'd you lose like 10 games in this time, dude?
I mean, I'm really bad at chess, but I know that like there's like the fastest possible way to lose a chess match is something called like there's a move. There's a name for it. I guess there's a name for everything in chess, but
they call it the Ben Gambit.
The Ben Gambit. Yeah, but it's still like 3 moves or something. So they must have done those 3 moves to Locke every single time to fit it into 15 minutes to have a streak going.
Yeah.
Locke is also very, like you were making fun of Saeed. Locke is also, I gotta say, notorious at this point for being like, folks, I have got this under control.
Yep.
I understand. I am a mystic. I understand all of the mysticism and all of the scientific things going on. And then pie in the face immediately.
100%. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think we have been encountering situations that go beyond his expertise at this point.
Yes.
But he has not changed his attitude at all. He is still dead sure of himself in all situations.
He is just, I mean, I gotta say, no offense. And if you're in a wheelchair, go for these things. But like going all the way to Australia and to go on the walkabout thing, like out in the desert or whatever, and then just the guy having to be like, come on, you can't do the walkabout. We're going to the desert. And you're in the wheelchair, and him to be like foiled at the last mile, like you got to think through them, my dude. Think through these things.
Yeah. Saeed realizes Mikhail is another, not a member of the DHARMA initiative, and is almost certainly not alone. Mikhail explains that the station is connected to an underwater beacon to guide submarines to the island. What the heck? We got submarines now? When Saeed taunts Mikhail about killing one of the hostiles, Mikhail goes like, "Why are we pretending this is not progressed beyond where it was?" He attacks him.
That's not what he sounds like.
No, I forget. He's kind of.
I'm not agreeing with that.
Okay. Mikhail attacks him and Kate, but is overpowered. They tie him up. Saeed reveals a hatch hidden under a rug. Kate and Saeed descend into the hatch while Locke keeps watch over the unconscious Mikhail.
So many hatches on this island.
Yeah, we're hatched up over here in the ocean.
So many.
The basement is wired with explosives. C4 everywhere. Saeed finds several DHARMA manuals, but does he grab any? That would have been, I would love to get my little pause on those. Let me figure this out. I don't think he does. I think he just...
I can't remember.
Like, Upstairs, Locke is distracted by the prompting of the chess game. You just like, and as far as like the timing on this goes, like he like really does like instantly wander off. Like they just go into the basement and then right away he's, gotta go. Yeah. Gotta go look at my phone.
I'm gonna win this game. It's my destiny.
Mm-hmm. He finally manages to beat the chess computer, after which the screen changes to a video of Dr. Marvin Candle / Dr. Mark Wickman, which tells him to enter number codes for communication. Since the satellite and sonar have been rendered inoperable, which, by the way, if you were designing a program or the UI on this, or the UX for this is so crazy, because it's like we're gonna film a bunch of videos of like our main guy like reading out the error messages and then like playing those if something doesn't work.
It's pretty cool.
Is that really what we gotta do?
It was giving me ideas when I go back to work on Monday for my team, being like, guys, I've got some ideas.
Yeah. I want a video of Steve Jobs to pop up on my phone that says, "You're out of battery," or like whatever it is. Instead of just giving me an alert.
But it's a big decision tree of error messages too, where he's like, the satellite is down. Consider the sonar, and then Locke like, yes.
Yeah.
And then
he's playing a full like FMV game right there.
Unfortunately, the sonar is also down. You have almost no more options. Consider a tactical airstrike on yourself for some reason. Have the hostiles attacked you?
I'll think about it. Yeah. Yeah, he says, has there been an incursion of the station by the hostiles? If so, enter 77.
Also very annoying. Like, I mean, I'm laughing at this, but like, we still do this today. You call up CVS about your medication or whatever, and you got to go through the decision tree there. But like, imagine like there has been a hostile invasion of the ranch or whatever, and you're like through these
I didn't
videos.
get that. Please repeat.
You're going through these. I can't remember the number. Blow it up. The sonar is down. What would you like to consider next? The satellite is also down. Have you considered that there's a hostile invasion? Yes, that's what I've been going for the entire time.
Please speak to representative. Please speak to representative. Screaming at Dr. Candle there. Locke is about to enter the code when Mikhail appears behind him and holds a knife to his throat. In the basement, Kate is attacked by B. Clue. But Saeed comes to her defense. Kate retaliates, punching Clue in the face after recognizing her as one of the others from the dock where they were kidnapped, and tells Saeed that she will know where Jack is. They take her upstairs. Locke is outside, being held at gunpoint by Mikhail. That's what he was up to. Thanks, John. There's a lot of arguing in Russian between Clue and Mikhail, and Zoe was able to translate a little bit of that. It was pretty much what you would expect, like, don't do that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And then Mikhail shoots Clue. Locke struggles for the gun, and Saeed manages to knock Mikhail to the ground. Mikhail begs to be killed, but Saeed lets him live. Locke watches Dr. Candle's video again, pausing at the enter 77 part. Just head back to the computer. Dude, just is it like a dog with a bone? You just gotta keep playing Peg or whatever the fuck.
I love how like the other people in the universe use the computer in a relatively normal way, I would say. You know, they can type,
yeah,
that kind of stuff. Terry O'Quinn sits down at the computer and he's always like, only types with one finger, old guy style, but then he's always like licking his finger like you would lick a page of like your finger before you flip a page of a book.
I really do like the way that like everything about his performance is like so good to me. Like it works really well, even the way he considers the keyboard. But yes, it is very distinctive.
It's I think it's funny. It's so funny to me because it adds like another level of mysticism to Locke. Like Locke has obviously understood the island better than other people in the mystic ways of the island better than other people throughout. But it's kind of funny that like he then treats like the computers as kind of part of that mystic tradition of the island, you know? Like if he got a little protege, the protege could be like, yeah, 95% of the stuff you're onto, completely true. But also, my dude, we gotta teach you how to type on the computer. This is not there's no magic going on with the computer, my dude. This is fine.
he's the guy who is telling his secretary to print out his emails for him so we can like go through them later.
Yeah.
Saeed shows Mikhail a map that shows a cable running from the Flame to a place called the Barracks. Mikhail doesn't tell him about this place on the map, but warns that the moment Saeed's guard is down, he will attack. Danielle agrees with this. You have a map, she says. Why keep him alive? Saeed refuses to kill him. Presumably, we're intercut with his past where like he's, I guess, you know, morally holding himself back from doing that. But Locke emerges and says that he beat the chess game.
Folks.
Great. Thanks, Locke. Is that what you're doing back there? And found out that why Mikhail hadn't wanted him to beat it. The farmhouse blows up. Just big old boom.
Yeah. Do you think so? We've got this series of hatches where, you know, we're at least under the impression that they've been populated with other mini teams in the past that are often kind of tasked with deceiving other hatches, all while believing that maybe you're not being deceived yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think that there's a tactical missile hatch and those guys they've just been waiting around and they have instructions that like, if you ever get a 77 that runs across your screen, push the big button that says nuclear strike?
No, I think it was the C4.
Okay.
Once again, one of Saeed's hopes of being able to communicate with the outside world has been taken away by Locke. As the group turns to leave, Saeed catches sight of the cat. Yeah, I mean, I think Locke's doing this on purpose. Like he wants he wants to stay on the island. He wants to figure this out.
Figure it out, yeah.
On the beach, the episode actually starts off with Sawyer noticing Paolo with one of his magazines. He explains that they share things now. After seeing that the castaways have set up a ping pong table, Sawyer decides to challenge someone to a game to retrieve his stash. Sun decides that if he loses, he has to give up using colorful nicknames for a week. And it was really, I feel like Sawyer was like, you know, like name your price or whatever. And Sun was like, you have to stop being racist for 30 seconds. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Apple would just like stop being racist to us all the time.
It was a real like Dr. Evil, Austin Powers, Dr. Evil, $1 million style moment where she starts off well. She's like, no more nicknames for 1 week. 1 week.
Right.
Okay.
You should see if he'll. So we learned Sun will not be in charge of any negotiations that happen on the show. And she's coming to the table compromised. As much as we love Sun, you're gonna wiggle your way out of anything positive here.
Yeah. But I gotta say, if I was on the island too, if I was on the beach, I'd be like, oh, Sun, hold up. I get the sort of poetry to what you're saying, but we're going to give him a bunch of physical objects. So I think we should add maybe something practical back in there as well. Again, sounds good. Very poetic, your wager here?
And I'm saying and over here. I'm saying and we do.
But can
We
we
do your
add
idea
the
for
alcohol back in? Can we get some
Also-
books back? The medicine, if it still is around,
sure. You have to promise not to take the guns again, Sawyer. Like, try that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. No nicknames for 1 week.
1 week.
The ping pong match begins with Hurley and Sawyer. Sawyer loses badly, but Hurley takes pity on him and returns some of his magazines. It's like, all right, everyone getting their hands on the nasty magazines. Very good. Passing them around.
Yeah.
At this point, Hurley reassures Sawyer that Kate will be safe with Saeed and Locke. We got a lot to chew on this episode. We get a lot of stuff from Mikhail about, I guess it's tough to know exactly if he was telling us the truth or not, but, background for things. But, I think I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. It was an exciting episode.
Yeah, it's it's a 4. I'd say 2.
This episode of Lost on Ice is brought to you by us. Thanks for listening to the podcast. It's a lot of work to put these episodes together, so if you'd like to support us, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and visiting us, patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. Thanks for listening. Season 3, Episode 12, Par Avion. Air date March 14th, 2007, directed by Paul Edwards, written by Christina M. Kim and Jordan Rosenberg.
Alt Claire has entered the chat.
Mm-hmm. The episode opens with a Claire Littleton flashback. I'm just trying to think of what a goth Australian might say right now, actually.
Well, maybe if it was in the early 2000s and they're a middle schooler that just got into Invader Zim or something like that, they'd be like, meow, meow. That was funny. You just didn't. You didn't
Yeah,
know.
it's going over my head though.
Okay.
That's pretty good though. Is this
Other
supposed to be
people
like meow?
Meow, meow.
Okay. Nice. We'll go with yours then. Claire. Do you want to take your mom is telling you to take off all of your goth makeup and stuff, and she says now. That would be, yep. All right. Claire finds herself in a ruined car. A ruined car. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I wrote that. I wrote that synopsis.
I guess you could say that. Yeah. It's she's in a car crash. Wreck?
Telling the officer when you've gotten into a drunk driving accident. I've just sort of found myself here. Just kind of woke up and I found myself in this ruined car.
Yeah. She sees her mother, Carol Littleton, lying on the road, badly injured. At the hospital, Claire's Aunt Lindsay confronts Claire about her being cleaned up. A doctor tells Claire all her mother's medical expenses have been taken care of by an anonymous person. Later, Claire discovers her mother has a visitor. One Dr. Christian Shepherd. Big dog showing up.
Goes unnamed to her, though, I believe.
Yes, but we recognize him as Big Chris.
Him.
Yeah.
Yes.
She realizes that he is the one paying the hospital bills and asks who he is, which, I mean, right away, we as the audience, we see him in the room and we're like, I remember the episode of where Anna Lucia and Christian were running around the outback trying to get, I'm putting it together. Reluctantly, Christian admits that he is her father, meaning that Jack and Claire are half siblings. And Zoe pointed out, Aaron is Jack's nephew. Half
Interesting.
Nephew,
Interesting.
Uncle Jack, baby.
Uncle Jack. Christian Shepherd is close to a lot of people on the island.
Mm-hmm. He haunts them. He's there. Later, Christian explains over coffee with Claire that he had a fling with her mother, which resulted in Claire's birth. However, Claire's mother did not like that he had another family for some reason and told him to stay away. He reveals that the reason that he wanted to talk with her is that he wants Claire to think about ending her mother's life. Claire gets angry, believing that Christian is there to correct a mistake he made by having Claire with her mother. She tells him paying the bill does not make him noble and leaves after telling him she does not even want to know his name.
He's also like, jumps right into, so it would be illegal to unplug her, but with modern medical science, there are lots of other things that we could do to achieve the exact same effect. And if you work with me, we can kill her together.
Yeah. Makes you wonder that, realize that maybe Jack's bedside manner comes from somewhere a little bit, that maybe Christian Shepherd isn't as smooth as he thinks he is.
On the other hand, we've seen Jack in comparison to his dad, so maybe it just paints a even bigger, better picture of how bad Jack's bedside manner is, that his dad is still somehow tenfold better than him.
Yeah. Well, I think that Christian probably in the zone at the hospital is killing it, but like outside of his element, he will fumble and not try to make small talk or introduce himself or do anything at the over coffee other than just saying, you maybe want to unplug your mom.
Kill your mom.
Back in Sydney, Claire visits her mother, who is still in a persistent vegetative state. Although in a coma, Claire reveals to her mother that she is pregnant, giving away the baby. She tearfully apologizes for the accident, for all the terrible things she said to her in the car before it happened. So do we think that Christian is the one who paid for Claire's tickets?
Back to America?
To LA? Yeah.
Oh, I had not considered that. Do you think that?
Well, Zoe suggested it, and I think that would be, I mean, doesn't Christian and Jack live in LA? I think this is like Christian's big play to reunite the family, or like,
maybe
things all for once, and I don't know.
Maybe.
Although the timing on that, though, because like the timing on that would be like he's on his bender in Australia, like right before the crash anyway, right? Like he dies like the week before the crash, and like the tickets for Claire to get to the US, I don't know, maybe he was like, I gotta, yeah, I don't know, I guess he maybe didn't plan to die, he planned to, it kind of seemed like he was over there in Australia to end his life, or like he's kind of like, he had no intentions of returning. He was like, he's just gonna, he kind of was kind of a dead man walking, just wandering into bars and stuff at that point, I think.
Sure.
But do we actually see how he died? How does he die? Maybe we haven't seen his actual death quite yet.
I don't remember. Don't want to say.
I do not recall. Yeah. I don't think we've seen him. At the beach, Desmond Hume suggests that Charlie should go boar hunting. Wink, wink. I really think you should go hunting boar. Claire sees a glint in a flock of seagulls. Claire realizes that the birds migrate and that they may have been tagged. She decides to capture a bird and attach a note about the crash of Flight 815 and the survivors, hoping that someone will find and read it. Great idea, I think. Great plan.
Good idea. Separating herself from the baby. I've complained about that in the past. So good job.
Wait, what?
I complained about they don't give her anything to do other than have the baby for a long time. Okay. So I like that.
Yeah, I guess it would be kind of hard though you can't really tell somebody, you have to put in the note like, here's where we are. But I suppose if they're being tracked, if the goals are being tracked, be like retrace the path. I don't know how, if you can, how close.
Well, you can just let them know, like is later revealed, and when Charlie reads through it, that like they're still
they're still
alive.
alive.
So
Mm-hmm.
keep up the search, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They could put a really long string on the bird's foot, and then they could trace the string all the way back to the island, perhaps. That's what I
That's a
would
great plan.
suggest.
Mm-hmm. After explaining her plan, Jin and Sun help Claire set up a trap to capture one of the birds. Just as Jin is about to spring the trap, gunshots ring out and scare the birds away. Desmond emerges from the jungle claiming he was on the trail of a boar. Claire somehow knows that it involves Charlie. She confronts Charlie about his and Desmond's strange behavior. Although Charlie struggles with whether to tell Claire about Desmond's prediction, he instead says that her plan will only give people false hope. Claire's angry and asks Charlie to leave her alone. Okay, and I know listeners are not going to be happy with me about this. Apparently, Charlie's a big favorite character. But, like, dude is giving major creep vibes still in this episode. And he's not being a very helpful friend to Claire. He's dismissing her out of turn and not, explaining stuff. Yeah, he sucks, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's being his normal self, but
He's
he's
being
got a
his
lot,
normal self.
got a lot of stuff on his mind, to be fair. So he's kind of being weird with it.
He's being weird with it. But his demise can't come soon enough for me. I'm about done with him. Claire, after seeing an argument between Desmond and Charlie, follows Desmond, picks up a seagull from a rock, and explains to Claire how he's seen that if Charlie had gone to get the bird, he would have died after falling into the sea. Claire takes the bird to Charlie and tells him that she knows of his visions. Charlie and Claire release the bird with a note explaining the circumstances of the crash. It's a very, very long note. It's fine, but it seems like...
Yeah. Bird's got a whole book.
Yeah.
Connected.
Part 2 coming soon. Second bird. Look out for the second bird. In the jungle, Saeed, Kate, John, and Danielle, and the captured other, Mikhail, learn from Mikhail that the implosion at the Swan Station sent an electromagnetic pulse which wiped out an underwater beacon. This makes it impossible for the island to be accurately located or for anyone to return to the island. Kate asks Mikhail why the others stay on the island if they have a way off of it. Mikhail says that Kate, Locke, and Saeed would not understand because they are flawed. They're not on the list because they are angry, looking at Locke, and weak and frightened, looking at Saeed. The other thing that he says is I'm trying to read ahead here, but I don't think they break. But he looks at Locke too, and he says, "But maybe I did know you because the last time that I saw you, you were in a wood." And then that's when Rousseau interrupts. The list was made by a magnificent man, quote unquote, who brought all the others there. When Kate tells Mikhail that Ben Linus is not all that great, Mikhail replies that he's not talking about Ben. And then I think people of the ARG who know about the ARG stuff might have a theory about who that person is. Either the Tanzo Foundation, or the guy's name is Ha Vagar or something. I don't know, or it's his right hand man who got Mickelson or something. I can't remember what the names were, but this is just being ARG theory. Mikhail also reveals that he knows their full names. He begins to reveal his knowledge of Locke's paraplegic condition, but Rousseau interrupts him when she spots an endless ring of cement pylons that disappear into the jungle as far as the eye can see. Saeed believes that this is a security perimeter. Kate starts to walk through, but Saeed stops her as he believes the sensors would be triggered. Mikhail claims the system has not worked for years, just like everything else on the island, but Locke simply grabs Mikhail and shoves him between two of the pylons. This is a key part where you kind of wish that Locke would explain his plan to people before just going and doing stuff, because this is what happens next. An odd electronic sound rings out, trapping Mikhail, who says thank you to Locke. The amplitude of the sound jumps up, and Mikhail begins twitching and trembling. Blood drips out of his ears and saliva foams at the corners of his mouth. He falls over and spasms violently, appearing to be killed by cerebral hemorrhaging. Cerebral hemorrhaging nerd logging on to Wikipedia article diagnosing what's going on there.
Yep.
If we got if we got a security fence that plays sounds that'll kill you, folks, yeah, they're playing our freaking podcast. Oh, hey. Saeed angrily confronts Locke about pushing Bakunin through the pylons. Locke replies that he has no way of knowing that the others had a sonic weapon fence. They argue about Locke's decision to enter 7-7, resulting in the destruction of the flame station. Locke retorts that he might not have done it if Saeed had bothered to mention that the entire station was rigged with C4. Kate asks for the axe so they can climb a tree and avoid the sonic trigger. Saeed gets the axe out of Locke's bag and discovers inside a brick of C4 from the flame station, meaning that Locke knew that there was C4 around there. Saeed immediately questions Locke's motives, asking if he really came to rescue Jack. Locke states that there is no other reason for him to be there than to do that. They finish the tree bridge, and Kate volunteers to climb up first. She climbs over the pylon and reaches the other side safely. She checks Mikhail and confirms that he is dead. Kate, Saeed, Locke, and Rousseau reach the barracks where the others are staying, expecting to see Jack in some sort of hostage situation. Locke, Saeed, and Kate are shocked instead to see him laughing and throwing a football around with the Zeke guy, who is apparently named Tom Friendly. We keep seeing Tom Friendly. I don't think he's introduced himself
named.
as it.
Yeah, he's been named Tom.
Okay, good.
Quite a while ago. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Very, very funny.
Episode ends as Jack spikes the ball.
Yeah, in such a goofy way.
Very funny, extremely funny thing for an adult man to do while playing catch with another adult man. Woo, I caught the ball.
Outside of the context of like an actual professional or semi-professional football game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Some stray observations from this episode. Sawyer reading The Fountainhead
by Ayn Rand. Sawyer's getting libertarian pilled over.
I mean, if he wasn't already, he's gonna emerge with some thoughts about the age of consent. I have to ask you about this. Claire and Son, their hair. They have the same hair this season. Claire's hair is definitely new. She's got bangs now. When did Son's hair change to this is a new do for her?
I'll have to take a look. It didn't catch my eyes. I know you're asking me because
I'm surprised. You're the hair guy. You would
the women's hair guy.
Yeah.
Normally take note, but I didn't catch that. It's not my. I like voluminous hair, and they both have very straight.
no, it's.
They have very straight hair.
I think they used to. They used to.
Island.
But not now. Not now. They both have like the same bangs and like the with the strands on the other side of the face now.
Yeah.
It's more.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they're starting to look like they're middle school girls who went away to Jamaica for a week with their family on vacation, or actually more like Disney World with their family. And do you remember this from school? They come back with the like colored thread around like their hair. So it's like you have like one lock, one dreadlock style lock, sort of.
And it's a dreadlock?
It's not a dreadlock, but it's like, I don't know what you call that. It's like
it's a color
strand of hair, and they'll wrap
one hair.
No, bunch of hairs,
okay.
But it's maybe like a couple millimeters thick, and it goes all the way down, and they'll wrap like colored thread around it. So at the end, you've got like this strand of like colored bars. Usually,
they get the Padawan set up.
Yeah, actually, I don't know exactly, but I feel like that's actually probably similar.
Mm-hmm.
Wars
time
stuff.
to rewatch all of the Star Wars movies.
Looks a little goofy, but yeah, you're right that is kind of
middle
where
school
they're
girls owned
heading.
Two adult men goofing on middle school girls. Looking goofy much? Okay, another thing. Claire and Sun are talking on the beach, and Claire mentions to Sun that her mother was a librarian, and Sun goes, "Was?" And Zoe points out she could have retired or changed jobs.
Yeah.
When I was in college, what happened? You died? But, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna give this episode a 3 out of 5. I guess they did pick it up right away.
It's a 4 for me.
Nice.
It's up there still, you know. I'll give a lot of credit to, Goth Claire, great. Jack spiking the football, great. All the other stuff is pretty good too.
I think just like Charlie being around
Hurts
is
it.
what brought this down for
Yeah. Yep.
But if it wasn't for that, I'd be throwing it a 4. That's going to be it for the show today. If you like the show and want to hear more from Ben and I, consider joining our Patreon. This is patreon.com/drskeleton. Every week, Ben and I release a bonus hangout show and talk about all the stuff that we can't talk about here on the Lost episode. Right into the show, drskeletinsartschool@gmail.com. And next week, we are watching Season 3, Episodes 13 and 14. At some point, we will do that ARG episode. Maybe at the end of this season, maybe as a bonus holiday thing. I don't know. We'll talk about it. But that's something that I definitely want to do soon. But yeah, thanks for listening. See you next time.